What's happening, guys? Today on Quarantine Cooks we're making fresh filled and ring donuts. To start, we're going to bloom our yeast with some warm water and sugar and let it sit for 5 minutes while it activates. Meanwhile, we're going to put the rest of our ingredients into a stand mixer bowl. We're throwing in some flour, sugar, butter, eggs and our proved yeast, followed by some warm milk. Mix this in the stand mix for 20 minutes on a low speed with the dough hook attached, then turn out into a lightly floured surface and knead for a further few minutes. Form the dough into a ball and drop it into a grease bowl and leave it to rise for 2 hours in a warm place. Remember to grease the top of the dough so that the crust doesn't form when it's rising. Once the dough is risen, punch it down and turn it onto a lightly oiled surface. Roll it out until it reaches about half an inch thickness and use the rim of a pint glass and an apple core to punch the dough into shape. Set these down in a warm place for another 45 minutes for a final rise. To make the glaze for our ring donuts, we're going to simply mix icing sugar with warm water until the glaze-like consistency is reached. For our caramel filling, melt butter in a pan over low heat and add light brown sugar to form the caramel sauce. Add about a tablespoon of vanilla paste and stir this to combine. Keep the heat low, and when the sauce is smooth, remove it from the heat. To cook the donuts, heat a pan of vegetable oil to 160 degrees and gently drop in each donut, making sure not to avoid splashing yourself with boiling oil. After a minute, flip the donut and continue cooking for another minute. Once they're evenly cooked, repeat the process with the rest of your donuts and get ready to serve. I use the cut out middles of the ring donuts for little donut bites, and I'm tossing them in a hearty dusting of cinnamon sugar straight after removing them from the heat. For the filled donuts, use a small knife to make an incision in the side and use a piping bag full of our caramel sauce to fill the donut, removing any excess caramel that might burst out of the hole. For the rings, tip the glaze all over the donuts after letting them cool to room temperature. And there they are, fresh homemade donuts that can be enjoyed as part of a snack with a cup of coffee or as a dessert after a meal. Another huge thank you to Reece for his tunes. These links are going to be in the description, and a big thanks to everyone for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Quarantine Cooks.